Hey, what's up, online community? And thanks for stopping by and checking out another segment of Straight No Chaser, where I talk sports and culture for fans, oftentimes with the fans. Now, tonight we're deviating from our normal programming schedule because I got a brother on here I've been trying to connect with for a while, and I've been really want to have him on the show. And we were finally able to make it work. So I'm really glad to have this brother on here. I got Chauncey Jones, former Thornton Wildcat, former University of Alabama basketball player, former professional basketball player, and all-around good cat. So Chauncey, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Now, I wanted to have Chauncey on the show because not only is he a local legend here in Chicago, in particular the South Suburbs, but he's got a great story to share of perseverance, basketball, family, and just making sure that, or not making sure, but being able to give back to the community from which he came, and helping get back to younger people. But before we get into it, you know how we do it. You got your glasses, raise them up, grab your favorite libation. We're about to get into a straight no chaser. So you're at Thornton, you're getting better with each year. There was something that happened within your family in which you had to make a decision that kind of changed your basketball trajectory a little bit. Can you share with our viewers what that experience was and what that was like? Because I don't think everyone understands kind of what transpired and how it impacted you from a basketball standpoint.
Yeah. Well, it was a situation with my brother, and it just happened like we thought he was going into the hospital for like a routine checkup. He said that his knee was bothering him, and then I think like 3 days later he could barely bend his knee. So my mom took him into the hospital, and she actually called me into the hospital later that evening. And as so I come into the hospital room, and I see my brother laid out with tubes all out his arms. I was like, what's going on? So they kind of took me to a private room and sat me down and told me that he had leukemia. So, we had our moment, and I say, so what does that mean? Is my brother gonna die? Because we were very young, man. Like, he was 14, I was 15. I was scared, I was crying. And they were saying it's not a complete death sentence yet. There's some precautions that we can take. There's some things that we can do. And one was in the form of a bone marrow transplant.
Okay.
And my parents have been tested for it, and their test came back negative. And obviously, I took the test. And Stan, when I tell you that it's rare to find a match in your family, the doctor said that I was a perfect match.
Oh, wow.
So they said that, like medically, if they took my head and put it on his, vice versa, they couldn't tell the difference.
Really?
Yeah. So I felt like that was awesome. And then followed up with that, my mom, they never forced the decision on me. They were just like, we understand that you have a future in basketball. This is totally, your decision. And I just stopped them right there, man. I was just like, look, we talking about basketball or my brother's life. I could care less about basketball at this point. So to let you know, man, it's by far the best assist that I've ever thrown out. And my he's completely healthy right now. He owns his own trucking company. Just the will to live in terms of some of the stuff that he had to go through, and that fight and that push, man, is just something that I'm gonna cherish and take with me, man, no matter what. If he can make it through that dire straight situation, man, some of the things that I go through is nothing.
Well, first off, kudos to you at such a young age being able to make that decision, because that's not an easy decision to make. Or I can see where it can be challenging in terms of just thinking through it and a lot, but being able to just acknowledge and say, hey, I'm doing this for my family. And, basketball becomes secondary, even though you were moving up and getting better each year. So first off, kudos to you and shout out to your brother, his help.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Can you talk about, so that happened in what, your junior year?
My junior season, yeah.
Junior season. So can you talk about the impact that had on you on and off the basketball court and how it may have affected your game during that time?
Well, it affected me quite a bit. I mean, I remember being in class, because at first, I kind of dealt with it. And, you know, just like, okay. And then it hit me later, like I'm in class, and then I just broke down, man, in school. And, you know, my teacher was like, go in the hallway, you know, take some time or whatever. But, you know, just thinking about, because every time that I came to go visit him, after the chemo, after some of the treatments, he looked different. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes I see him, man, and then he didn't have eyebrows, he didn't have hair. You know, he his whole complexion was darker. You know what I mean? It's just something. It was certain times where, you know, he was only up for a couple of seconds and then he just instantly fall asleep. Man, he was just going through a whole lot. And, you know, me and him were extremely close, so it affected me that way. The physical part, after I had the surgery, I was right back in practice like a week later. But, you know, still to this day, I have some stiffness, and, you know, I have the scars to kind of show. But I embrace it, man. You know, if this was something that I had to deal with for my brother to continue his life, I'll do it 100 times over.
Yeah. Amen. So now, let's see. So now you've gone through your junior, senior year. Did that experience impact basketball opportunities that you had that maybe weren't there after this occurred?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
Because like it really didn't affect my play. I mean, outside of a little pain, I was still able pretty much to do what I wanted to do.
Okay.
You know, still get to my spots, still play physical, still take my shots. That didn't affect me at all. Just thinking about some of the stuff that he had to go through, some of the side effects, because mentally for a while, man, like he was highly upset. You know, because this was a guy, just like I was sought out across the country in terms of basketball. He was like that in football. You know,
Okay.
so his career pretty much, you know, cancer kind of took his career, man. And it was an adjustment for a bit, man. For like 5 years, you know, he was talking about I didn't want to live, and I was like, man, we did all this to push through. Like, I don't want to hear that talk from you, you know. And so it was a trying time, man. It was tough.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that can take an emotional toll on you.